The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of October 23, 2023. Presented by Earnings Whispers. With more than 600 companies scheduled to report earnings this week, it isn't the busiest week of earnings season, but the 159 S&P 500 companies set to report will edge out the 150 currently scheduled for next week. We will get a number of the big tech names reporting this week, including 4 of the Magnificent Seven, and sentiment is high going into earnings for most of them. But sentiment has become surprisingly bullish on stocks like GE and Intel. Probably not surprisingly though is the bearish sentiment in GM and Ford. Traders are most interested in Cliffs Natural Resources and Philips Electronics, and investors are bearish on both, but not excessively so. The fireworks begin on Tuesday. There are only about 100 companies reporting, but it includes Microsoft and Alphabet after the close. Expectations are generally positive for both companies ahead of earnings, but there still aren't a lot of believers in Alphabet, and all that volume in Microsoft is putting resistance above the $335 level. Sentiment is bullish for both Meta and Boeing, but there are very different things going on with the two companies. Perhaps the more interesting of the two is Boeing, which rallied following earnings last quarter but made a rather ugly reversal, and there appears to be little holding the stock up now. Meta, on the other hand, has different trends, and the question is whether it just had a failed breakout or a retest of support. Thursday is the busiest day with 120 companies scheduled to report. With all of those companies on the calendar, there are naturally a lot gathering attention, but Amazon and Enphase Energy are clearly at the top of most traders' lists. Shares of Amazon have recently shown vulnerability despite expectations of positive results, whereas Enphase has gotten crushed over the past year, and this is shown in the sentiment. Friday will be primarily about energy, with ExxonMobil and Chevron reporting in the morning. Energy has been the leader during the quarter, but these two large energy companies have lagged their smaller peers even though they have outperformed the overall market. On a longer time frame though, these companies have done little over the past year after their strong moves higher in 2021 and 2022. As the stocks have moved sideways, sentiment has dropped, particularly in ExxonMobil, where sentiment dropped during the quarter to its lowest level since the stock took off in 2021. There are a lot of companies with elevated volatility ahead of earnings this week, but one standout is PacWest, which survived the banking issues last spring. But there are concerns that the problems haven't gone away yet, and now macro trends weigh on the stock as well. The stock has averaged a price move of approximately 9% in recent quarters, but traders are pricing in a 20% move this time around.